Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hey, Kendra. Hey, Rose. So we have a live studio audience tonight, along with a guest star, Susan. So we are at the tail end of the first day of our class with Susan, and she's going to try to scoot out of the frame, and I'm not going to allow it.
I'll move better, thank you.
I'm not going to allow it.
Okay.
And so we still have some people here with us, which is fun. So you'll hear them cackling in the background. Maybe we'll get Alice to tell some jokes. She's been telling some funny jokes today.
Oh, it could
she
be
had people
wild.
laughing a few minutes ago. So
They were about crying. They were laughing so hard at the table next to me.
it was fun. It was fun. So Kendra or Rose, can you guys see us? Can you see us? There's a little bit of a delay. Yay! There she is. So they can see us. Yay!
Good.
Yay! Hey, Cheryl. So, I hope you guys had a good week. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Phyllis.
I love it when you do that.
Hey, Vicky. Hey, Beth. Hey. Hey, Susan. Susan, you should have came to class. Susan's close. She lives in Waynesville. She's fun.
Oh, my. We're having a
Hello,
great time.
Frederica. Also, her name, she goes by Ricky. I learned that.
Yeah?
She sent me a note yesterday, is in New Zealand.
I like it.
So, hey, Kathy, from Edgewater, Florida. You're amongst a lot of Floridians here today.
Yep.
There's a few of them back behind me.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
I guess everybody in here has lived in Florida except for me and Bonnie. And Bonnie kind of has. Because
Bonnie's visits a lot.
Bonnie stays for a while. Hey, JP. Yeah. Well, you know what, Susan? It's rained off and on. It's been a weird weekend. It hailed up here. I don't know if it did that for you yesterday. Yesterday it hailed. Hey, Lori from Paducah, Kentucky.
All right.
Yay, we have a Kentuckian in here.
Owensboro.
Hey, Deborah.
Hey, Deb.
From Johnny Depp country.
From where? Owensboro? Owensboro. Alice is from Owensboro, Kentucky.
That was a Michigander, Deb. Hi.
Gettysburg. Hey, Kathy.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, so we had a pretty good class today. We got people stitching, and tomorrow's another day of it, and we get some more challenging stitches tomorrow, I'm afraid.
Yep. Today was pretty good, though. I mean, everybody hung
My
in
name tag
there.
got finished. I don't know if you guys got to see the finish.
She's just showing this off because
So,
she's like outdid
yeah.
us all.
Well, I didn't show it off in class because I didn't want people to feel bad, but this is different.
only in front of the world she's showing
This
it
is
off.
different.
Now, you want to see my pathetic little thing? See, I mean, I started it out and she just ran with it.
Catherine, come show us yours.
Oh, see, the audience, they all have
Come
them.
on, everybody's got them. You guys come show us
on.
yours.
Let's see the
So,
audience.
we'll introduce our little audience here
Audience
tonight.
participants.
You have to get up and come back. Everybody
All
wants to
right.
know.
Stand between us. That way
Yeah,
you can
come
show
behind
us.
us so you can see.
Y'all
so this
didn't
is
know what you're
Alice,
getting into.
and Alice is from Florida. Ooh, that's pretty. That's really beautiful. I've not seen yours yet. That's
Isn't it
beautiful.
fun?
That's really pretty. I like it.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right.
Very nice.
Here they come. The rest of the
Here's
entourage.
Brenda.
My glasses.
Brenda is a Michigander who's now moved to Florida.
Yep.
She's got hers
Yeah.
on there.
Look
Pretty.
at she put
Oh, look
Asheville.
at that. That's cute. Little gnomes.
She's a Nomi.
Here's Bonnie, another Michigander who goes down to Florida and visits a lot.
Yes.
That's pretty.
They are. They're just gorgeous. All right, here comes Catherine.
Catherine didn't get hers until a week ago.
Always.
That's my fault. Yeah, I didn't give it to her
That's
until a
the
week ago.
truth.
But look how much she got done, and look
It's
how beautiful it is.
beautiful.
You can't see it. Put it up
can-
close.
Come on.
Lean in.
Yeah, get in there. It's gorgeous. Your colors are gorgeous.
There we go. It's really, really pretty. Catherine is my buddy that I went to Louisiana with, so.
Everybody has just, they're all different, but yet they're all the same concept. It's really been,
They are really nice. You didn't show yours.
yes, I did. You showed me up.
I didn't
said,
see
this
it.
Is, I said, this is mine, the way it started,
Oh,
but
how
it's not
pretty.
as good as hers.
You've got something on the back of yours, too.
Oh, yes, I did. I put some things here that weren't
That's a cool
being
idea.
used,
I didn't
but
do that.
Wait till you see this. This fell off. Hold on. Where'd it go? Oh, did I lose it? That would be my, no. See, you know, if you know me, I'm gone all the time. This would be my husband.
Aw,
he-
that's sweet.
He was stitched on the back, but where's he going?
There
He
you go.
fell off during class, so I have to
That's
reattach him.
sweet.
Yes,
Oh,
that
let
way.
me see that picture.
This is like 30 years
Oh
old.
my goodness!
He was a
Look,
youngster.
CJ. Maybe Susan will show this video to you later. Oh, that's sweet.
After 47 years, the man still doesn't get what I do.
How fun! How
Thank you.
fun!
So anyway, he was-
Everett came by today and ate lunch with us.
Yes,
So
we got
that
to
was
enjoy
fun.
Mr. Ponder. It was great.
Yeah, if you tell him there's food, he'll show up. So he came by and ate
He's
lunch.
so full.
And
He
it's
knows.
away from work. It's away from the Baird house. If you give him food at the Baird house, he may not come. That's not quite enough lure. It's like, so I've got this dilemma at home right now because Mr. Herschel, my cat, has an ear infection, and I have to keep giving him ear medicine. And so he's learned my tricks. And so I have to keep trying to find him a new way to give him the ear medication. So it's kind of the same with Everett in the Baird house. You have to invent a new way. So just telling him there's food there is not enough to get him over
It
there.
just doesn't cut
No,
it anymore. Yeah,
But it was fun.
They figure it out sooner or later, I know.
A funny thing that happened today is where we have class at in this little hotel. They have a really nice, it's a Fairfield Inn, and they have a really nice eating area out there. And we just kind of take it over, and I'll serve lunch out there. I cater it in, and sometimes we'll do a social thing. And so we had a social hour tonight, and we lay it all out on this like long kind of bar thing that comes out. It's not a bar, but it's like a you can sit on both sides of it kind of thing, a peninsula
There you
of
go.
counter space. Yeah. And so we put all the food out there, and then I get all the people from class, and they come out and they get their food, and then they sit down in the little eating area and they eat. And most of the time you get random people who walk by and they look at the food, and then they realize there's a private group, and so they don't actually come over there. And today we had two men, and it's always the older men. And so one of them comes over there, and he's got a cigar hanging out of his mouth
Yeah.
that's not lit. He's not smoking it. And he picks up a skewer of, it was like prosciutto and cheese and tomato. He picks it up by the stick, he looks at it, and he puts it back down, and he walks away, which we thought was hilarious. And then another guy came over, and he starts making a plate. And all my people had not eaten yet, so I had to tell him, it's for a private group. And so then everybody came through, and they got their food. And the older gentleman, the first one, came back over, the one that had the cigar. Well, he didn't have the cigar. And he came over, and he started chatting up all the women.
Yes, he did.
And he's making jokes. He was like telling some joke about, I don't know, an ice company and stock markets or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then he laughed at himself, and all the ladies laughed at him a little bit to be nice. And then he comes over and picks up the skewer again and starts making his plate. And because he had paid the fee with a joke that made everybody laugh, I let him have food.
But he came back the second time, and
He
you were all
came
laughing.
back again,
Yeah.
too.
And
yeah.
he came over to my table, and he said, "And what is going on here?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, we're having a class, and we're stitching." And he kind of looked at me and said, "I can give you a needle. I can set you right up." And I wanted to say, "Because you're eating."
Yeah, if you
But I
eat, you
didn't.
have to stitch. But
It was so funny. And then
Yeah.
he was walking around outside with that big unlit stogie, so he's trying to break his habit, I think.
oh, it was really funny though, because at the point that he came and got the food and told the joke, there was some time in there I was sitting down with everybody eating, and they were like, "You let him get food that time." I was like, "Hey, he paid his fee. He told a little joke, But and he reminded me of my dad. And I'm so used to men kind of doing that. They kind of weasel their way in. They try to be charming, and then they get in there and they know you're going to feed them.
Yep, they
And
know
I
that
was like,
you can't have to give in. There's no
Yeah.
way around it.
He was charming. I let him have his little.
You did.
But he
you-
did come back a third time, and at that point everybody was done, so we just kind of watched him come and go.
Yeah, we did. We were watching. Oh, he's going for another one. Yeah, okay. He didn't take any of those desserts until the end. He did at the end.
Did he take a ding dong?
He did take a ding dong at the end, and they're like little hearts. And
A little heart ding dong.
He took a heart ding dong. So,
Funny.
yeah, it was really good. Kind of like you didn't have to be there because you can kind of envision it. I know, that generation of gentlemen, and it was kind of reminded me of my dad. He'd be trying to make us laugh.
Oh, my dad would do that. He
Yeah,
was just a charmer like
Yeah.
that. He'd tell a joke and then he'd eat your food. It's like, okay, I mean,
Oh,
that's the way
why
it's
not?
supposed to be. Why
That's
not? Yeah,
right.
it was a funny joke.
Yeah,
It was
yeah, it
good.
was something about investing your money in icebergs. I only caught part of it, but everybody was laughing.
Because the
so-
assets are already frozen. It made no sense, but he laughed, and
Yeah,
so
he was proud.
it was funny. He just wanted food. I knew that.
Yeah, he
but
was-
I let him tell his joke.
That was good thinking, because then he felt like he deserved it.
Yeah, he had earned it.
Oh, dear.
And so you went to Bayou, France, and you got to see the tapestry.
Ooh,
Wow, that's
lovely.
very cool.
Yeah, it is very cool.
You have to tell us what you thought about that. That's pretty cool. And that might be a good topic to have a little talk on, too. I've got a friend, Pat, who might be watching, Macaulay, and she was in France, and she bought a pattern of an extract, I think, of the Bayou tapestry. Then it was very painful to stitch. Like, she did not like stitching it. It was not fun. Hey, Melanie, yay.
People that have done that same thing that I know, they're like, most of them don't finish it.
She finished hers. She finishes everything.
Well,
she
was
starts,
good. But they get a real feel for what it was.
She was not
like.
happy about it.
Yeah. It's kind of a struggle.
There's a lot
I
of
think.
complaining in that.
A lot of whining.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I would love to talk about it. That would be fun. So while I have you here, I wanted to talk to you about Susan's August class because she brought the model, and I'm going to be posting it. I don't know if I'll get it posted tonight, but I'll get it posted maybe Sunday or Monday. This class that we're doing right now is simply beautiful. It's gorgeous, and we're going to teach it again because I know a lot of people were a little bit worried about it with the specialty stitches and stuff and weren't quite sure what to think about it. It's so beautiful, though, and I think people are really enjoying it, and even people who haven't stitched a ton are just having fun with it.
Yeah, and it's really exciting for me because what we've done already, a good number of them haven't done it, and they're doing it. They're doing it. I mean, it's not, you can attain it. You can do it, I promise you, and it's beautiful.
And
I don't say that very often.
Oh, it is beautiful. It really is. And Allie was here today. Allie made a handmade woven button. What did she say it was called? A star or something? A woven star, maybe? What was it? An evening star.
Evening star.
That's right.
Thank you, Catherine.
And so she came up from Brasstown, North Carolina, which is about 2 hours away. It's where Campbell Folk School is, and that's where she lives and works now. But she came up and brought the buttons to us and gave them out, and people, I think it was fun to see the maker,
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful because you've got this handmade button that goes on there to close it, and when mine's done, I'll show it to you because I know I've shown you all the pictures and stuff, and you're probably tired of seeing the pictures. You want to see the real thing. But it is very beautiful. But we will teach it again, and we may work on, if we can work it out, because there's some technical stitches in it, maybe some kind of online, because they keep asking me about an online version. So we might try to do that. So anyway, this weekend's class is beautiful. The one that's coming up in August, she brought the model for, and it is also beautiful. And I wanted to share it with you since it's going to go up for sign up. I'll put it back together. So I just sat here and unrolled it. So this class is in August, and I just looked at the dates, and now I don't remember. It's like August 20.
Don't ask me. I'm always a number challenge.
I literally looked at it right before we logged on, so I would know, so I could tell you.
I'm so bad.
August 26th, Friday the 26th and 27th of this year.
Yes.
And so I'll put it up to where there's no pre-stitching.
No.
And I will put it up to, the way I'm going to do this one is I'm going to put it up so that you can sign up and pay the whole fee up front. So you don't have to worry about, am I in, am I out kind of thing. Because that's troublesome to some people. So I'm telling you now, when it's going to be out there for registration. So let's just say Monday. So if you want to sign up, it'll be up there Monday. So it's the finish of it, and I know you're working on maybe a little addition to it, but it's a beautiful spool finish, and it's got this pretty ribbon, and that's a button closure that you just wrap it around that. And you said the spool was like 200 years old?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, so the spool itself is like a 200-year-old spool, and, I think Susan's thinking about maybe making something to fit on the top.
I'm working on it. I just had to get this done and get it here, but it'll be done.
Because I'm greedo. I'm greedy. I wanted it.
She wants it now.
I need to see
or
it.
yesterday.
Yeah, I wanted it yesterday.
She did.
I need to see it. So clearly you undo the ribbon and you open it up, and I just want to show it to you. Because are you okay if I show it?
Yeah, sure.
It's a little late
I'm
for
honored.
that.
Thank you. There's 3 different types of linen that are used, and they are all from Italy. And the thing of it is, I like to have it self-finished, so it's self-finishing, and all the motifs, everything that's stitched on it, are from one of my vintage samplers. So I just had the most wonderful time going through my samplers and pulling things out that suited it and working with the colors. And then there's the joining on the 3 pieces.
Yeah. So that's really beautiful, and I want you to see that. So it's just a really beautiful antique kind of way to do that, which I think is just beautiful. And you see she's used the wool around the belly of the spool, which we talked about one time, so you're not wasting your linen. And then she's attached the linen to the wool. And so you've got all these different types of needlework on here from different samplers. That's a beautiful verse.
Thank you. That was really one that kind of started the whole concept, I think. And then
There's another join.
to the different motifs and the different stitches that I could teach. And then the little pocket.
Yeah, and so this little part here, you see that little windmill? Well, that little natural colored linen there with the bargello on it, or flame stitch, is a little pocket. And so it's actually sewn on top, and you can put something in there if you want to. And so I'll show you the back of it, because this is the kind of linen that it's on. It's a really beautiful, unique linen. There's 3 different pieces of it.
And you can see it better on the back because of all my stitching.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful linen to stitch on.
Look how pretty that is.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so you could actually put little pockets in here too.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and I love this idea. One of the people that's in the audience suggested that a long time ago I taught mattress pincushions for Krynick in different companies, and they would always hide little words of wisdom or little dedications in them. And so she suggested that we do the same thing on the back before we put it together.
Yeah, you tuck it in there, and so
Yeah.
if somebody ever takes it apart, they can see it.
And they're going to be so excited.
Oh, I just love it. It's really very beautiful. So
Thank
that's
you.
2 really stunning pieces this year, and this is something that's very typical in a lot of 1700s band samplers, 18th century. So 1700 and probably 1600s, the
Yes.
ones that we have. That would be very typical. And then you've got some of your eyelet letters and the verse and that heart. I know it's not Scottish because it's got a heart hanger in the middle, but it reminds me of Scottish something because of the shape of it.
And that's what's so interesting when you see things that travel from country to
Yeah,
country.
you start to realize that people took stuff with them as they moved. Anyway, 4-sided stitch there.
But there will be a piece
Just
that goes
very
on top.
beautiful, and just the detail of how it's finished there, like that edging. I just love it. So,
Thank you.
Good job. I'm excited about
Okay,
it.
I survived another test.
So, I'll post this one for sign up on Monday, and we, are kind of shifting to a little bit of a smaller a smaller boutique, bespoke kind of class, especially right now because we're meeting here at the Fairfield Inn. And I think when you're doing something that has some technical stitches in it, the smaller the class, the better for the students.
I agree.
You want to be social about it, but you want to have everybody have time with their instructor and learn the stitches.
I feel we're a full house this weekend, and I don't want it to get any bigger. I love that idea because if I talk a lot. I give a lot of history. I give product information, and I do tell funny stories. I really do have a few up my sleeve. Not as many as Alice does, though. 'Cause, Alice is the star.
Oh, Alice went to an Episcopalian boarding school. Yeah, she had some good stories, and I'm Baptist, so it's kind of fun. I will tell you this one story because it was hilarious.
Okay.
So Alice was telling a story where, how old were you guys, Alice? 14, 15 years old through 18. And I guess we're getting ready to have an alumni dinner. And some group of students stole the turkey that was to be served at the alumni dinner, right? And Alice was not part of that group. But nobody would tell who did it. And so, they had to go out and they had to figure out what to serve the alumni for the dinner really quickly because the turkey was cooked and everything. And so the punishment for the whole school, because nobody would rat anybody out, is that they all lost part of their allowance money for 10 weeks to pay for the food. But then they punished them by making them have a funeral service for the turkey. And so Alice tells it better than I do. But on Saturday, which was their only day where they didn't have scheduled things. And so she said it was hours and hours long. They were walking around with incense and saying prayers for the turkey and singing hymns. And so immediately when she said the part about the hymn, I said, "What hymns did you sing?" She goes, "I don't know. The hymns you usually sing for people that have died." I said, "You mean I'll Fly Away?" and everybody started laughing, especially me, but I laugh at my own jokes, but it was pretty funny. And that's about the time the older guy walked up, because
Yeah,
we
it
were
is.
laughing so hard, people were like almost crying.
He was
Alice,
getting away with it because you were laughing.
to Alice's credit, she kept right on with her story.
She can tell a
finished it
story
out.
with a straight face,
Oh,
girls.
yeah, it was hilarious.
And guys, if you're out there, yeah, unbelievable.
I thought that was funny. I was like, "You mean like you actually said like this is for the turkey?" She was like, "Yeah, it was for the turkey." I was like, "That's hilarious. How did nobody laugh?" She was like, "Oh no, nobody wanted to laugh. We
Very
wanted to get
serious
bit."
situation.
It was hilarious.
Oh,
So
mercy.
anyway, so yes, I'll come to class at Sassy Jack's when you get a chance, especially
never
if
know
Alice
what's
is going
gonna
to be here.
happen. We're not the normal, and we're glad. We like it.
But yeah, so I think we're going to be kind of migrating toward a little bit smaller, bespoke kind of class, just because we can do some of these fun things. Like I posted a picture of Schwalm work, and lots of people were interested in that, and that's not something you can do with 40 or 50
No.
people. You just won't get through it,
Can
It's
I
fun to do
tell
it.
my story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the first time that I took a group over to study with Luzina, and she is the master of Schwalm work, and I know we've said this. If you haven't gotten onto her blog, she actually just posted another thing today
Did
on
she?
her Schwalm work. It's very fascinating. So we had a really small group. She only wanted 10, and I think we actually only had 8 because she was very nervous the first time out. So at one table, I had a few of my regular, troublemakers. Yeah, 3 of them are in the room right now. This would be one right
It's
here.
Brenda and Bonnie and Alice.
No. So anyway, they're sitting at this one table, and it was all brand new to most of them, and so they're working away, and all of a sudden Kimberly's just so proud she wanted to show it off to the teacher.
I wanted to know if I was doing it right. I said, "Hey, will you tell me if I'm doing it?"
You were proud.
Because Penny's was like Penny,
Who's
I
not
love
here.
You, Penny. Yeah, Penny's probably watching online. Penny's was moving along, but hers was really tight.
She's very, very tiny
And
stitcher.
yeah, she's very, very good tension, and
Yeah.
I don't know. My stuff's usually too loose, and it was on this.
Well,
sure.
she gets up
Yeah.
there, and let's pretend she's her, like she is, and I'm Luzina, and Luzina is just a
She's
quiet,
German, really sweet.
gentle soul. And this is the piece.
And it was these things called cornet knots, which are not that straightforward to do.
No, they're a little tough. And so she's looking at it, and Kim's like standing up there just proud, and she's looking at it, and all of a sudden, her mouth falls. No, Luzina's mouth falls open. Oh no, and the rest
had
of the
to
class is like,
practice.
woo, because that was a big deal.
Well, because that's the mistake. They all think, "Oh, you're an expert." And I'm
Yeah,
like, no,
you have to
this is
learn.
brand new, so
We
you got to
do.
learn.
And it was great because she turned out being a pro from Dover. But that's the fun thing. You cannot get yourself crazy because you're for a class. You're there to learn something.
Yeah.
And it was a whole new technique, and
Yeah, that
you're
was
going to be
different.
teaching it.
Yeah, so we will do Schwalm work one day, but it's not something that you can do in a big group.
No.
And the fun thing, it's fun if you do it near Halloween, because you do this stitching on this. It's a counted linen, but it's a big kind of bulky, I don't know, coarse feeling
Coarse, yeah.
linen, and you do it with kind of like a pearl cotton, and it doesn't look great when you do it, and the outline of the design is drawn on there in blue. And it's just not a pretty thing, and you're like, it doesn't look great, Even the ones
That were really good.
that she thought looked good,
Yeah.
they didn't look good. And so at the end of it, you boil. You get this big pot of water, and you boil water. And I think it might have even had some detergent or something.
I was in the bathroom, which was this big
Yeah.
by this big. And they
So-
didn't want to give up their pieces. They were
Nobody
so
wanted to
proud.
drop it in a
No.
boiling pot of
water.
water. Imagine that.
And
We
I had
worked on it for 4 days.
Great big thing like I was the witch from the West. And I about had to jerk them out of your hands.
Yeah, nobody wanted to do that. Nobody wanted to put it in there.
It was amazing, though.
But it shrinks it up, and it tightens up around those knots, and it just is beautiful. And if you
Gorgeous.
haven't seen the picture of it, I'll try to post one for you here. But there's a picture on Facebook recently, or Instagram or something.
It's on
Um,
Facebook.
Yeah, and they're small. They fit in the palm of your hand. They're not when they go in. They're big.
Mm-hmm.
And when they come out, they're like maybe 2/3 the size that they were going in. And it would be great if we did it near Halloween, so we could stand outside and sing
Yeah,
bull and
yeah.
bubble, toll,
Yeah,
and trouble
exactly.
here in the mountains and brew our
Brew our
Schwalm work.
Schwalm. It was really, really fun. I mean, my group was kind of wild. Germans are a little more on the reserve side, and they actually shut the traffic down going over the bridge, doing leg kicks. I didn't know that.
I was not part of that.
Oh, you were too?
No, I wasn't.
Was that the second
I
year?
wasn't there. I don't think I did that.
Well, you must have been taking a nap, maybe.
Maybe. I did sleep a lot. 'Cause
She was working hard.
yeah.
Anyway, all of a sudden, because they were interviewing me, and I wondered what I sounded like in German on TV, and I come out, and they're taking pictures of them across from the road, stopping traffic, made the front page of the newspaper. The mayor came to see us,
Yeah.
and then we went back the next year, and they remembered us. Can you believe that one?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. So maybe we'll get to travel one day again, too.
I hope so.
But next year we're going to try to put something together too. We were talking to Allie about this today. Something where we coordinate some kind of workshop here with the craft school in Brasstown and go down there. So I'm looking forward to figuring that out and what that would be. So
It's going to be a great experience, and I know it'll happen because I love the word Kim's, kind of calling it boutique classes and a boutique setup. And that way, with a smaller group, we can do more things like that because it's really difficult.
some stuff you just need a few days for.
Yeah. Yep.
And and people need to learn just like me. I mean, I was competent as a stitcher and an embroiderist even then. I'd been doing it since I was 6, but when you learn something new, you learn something new.
And that's the thing. I think sometimes you're too hard on yourself. You're here for a class, and if you're here to learn a new technique, it's going to get better. It's just part of the deal. It can't start out fabulous. I'm learning all the time. Every time I can learn something, and I'm not always happy with it, but I work on it and it gets better. So that's important.
And then every once in a while, you get a stitch that you just hate.
I wonder if you're going to bring it up. Yeah.
Mine is the chain stitch, and I detest the chain stitch. Oh, I hate it. And guess what we had to do today?
She was whining.
Oh, I whined. Not only did I whine, I quit.
She did.
I was like,
I couldn't believe it. Here was the leader, the head, and she quit.
I was
not
like,
doing
Susan, this is my piece, right? She goes, yeah. Spread your butterfly wings. Blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, well, my butterfly is saying it does not like the chain stitch.
So we came up with an alternative, and you made it beautiful.
I took it out. And the cool thing about the chain stitch is you can just, it's like, I forget what it's like. You can just pull the end of it, and it goes, and it's all gone. And you're like, score if you meant to do it.
Yeah.
If you didn't mean to do it, which that happened to me once too, and that happened to my friend beside me once, Debbie. And that's not fun. And that's one of the reasons I was like, yeah, me and this chain stitch, we're breaking up.
we're not chained together
this
anymore.
relationship is over.
Yeah.
And so I did a back stitch, and then I did some fun stuff around it. So I'll show it to you. I'll point that out when I did it.
It's really
But
pretty.
I do not like the chain stitch.
It's one of those. Now I've been really into watching the English baking competition, and they, how they have the first thing they do, and then the second thing is the technical. This is the technical. It's a technical stitch. It's not hard, but it's technical.
Well, there's some other ones that we'll be doing tomorrow that I'm okay with. But,
Yes.
I learned, I did it for a sampler model that I stitched for a friend.
That's right.
I put my back into it, and I got her done. But I did not like it. I did not like one single stitch of it, and I hope it's good enough. But I don't want to do it again. And, I will look at samplers that I'm thinking about buying, and if there's a chain stitch in there, I'm like, maybe I don't like that one so much.
But that's the good
I'm like,
thing.
I'm not going to stitch that.
You can change it. That's my philosophy. If you don't like it, even if it's very historical, it's yours. Change it. And we had more than one person today that did.
Yeah, so the deal is when I did it, I was very quiet about it. I was like, okay, Susan, I won't tell anybody in class, but I really don't want to do this. And she's going, okay, don't tell anybody. So, here we are.
Telling the world.
Hopefully they won't watch this until after they've already finished their chain stitch.
Most of them did get it done. I was amazed.
Yeah, they got it done. They got it done.
It's beautiful.
And then after the class was over and there were still some people hanging around, it turned out that inside the room, the people that were still here, there were 3 other people that didn't do it either. But everybody was just keeping it on the down low. We're like, okay, we're not going to let everybody quit, because I think everybody would have quit.
Well, and yet the ones that didn't were very proud when they got it done, because again,
It's pretty.
It's not hard, but it's technical. And
Allie was here at that point, and she did hers, and I know that she's never done a chain stitch before, and it was stinking perfect.
It was. Her tension, everything she did, the motion of the needle, the holding the fabric. I mean, it was like You've done this for 40
She's never
years,
done that
and
stitch
she's not
before.
40
I know
years
she's not.
old.
Yeah, I know she's never done that. But some people are just naturally.
Some people are calmer than others.
Yeah, well, I've got places to be and
Things
people to see.
do. I get it. I do get it.
Why should I waste 30 minutes of my
I know
life?
it.
You know, and if I had never done it before, I wouldn't have quit. I would have gotten it.
And you
But
knew.
knowing that I have done it and that I did it okay and I still hated it when it was done,
Why?
why do that?
That's right.
I mean, you know, I'm on the downhill slide. There's less life in front of me than behind me. I don't want to waste it like that.
That's right.
know?
You want to have fun and enjoy. I get it. Believe me, I get it. Sometimes when I start something for a project, I'm great at restarting.
There's
and starting.
Australia. Hey, how are
Yay.
you?
Who is this?
And Robbie coming
All
in.
right, hey. I actually have a gal from Australia that's flying in for a Michigan class because she knows.
Patowski.
No, she's coming to
Something
the local bar for the class because she knows some of the girls. She's done Zoom with me when I've taught.
She's
and
what?
We've done a
Back up.
Okay,
She's coming to the local bar.
that's where I'm teaching. I teach sometime in bars
Okay.
because we have good space. I mean, I'm from a little town.
My chain stitch might look better.
Yeah, honestly,
I might not hate it so much.
They have tasting of alcoholic beverages if you want. I don't encourage it, but it's your call.
But it helps with the chain stitch.
Yeah, and she's coming in for a class that's being held, and it's called the Maple Room. It's really nice, but it's at the bar, and they have really good food, and so we love that. And she's done a couple classes Zoom because she has friends, pen pal friends in Detroit
cool.
area. Yeah.
That's fun.
So anyway, she's coming for the July class to the bar, not to any of the nice places I've had classes, but the bar's nice, but it's not like
But the truth
Shipshawar's,
comes
you
out.
know, yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so when you said Australia, I thought, who is it? But hello, Australia, come
Fun,
visit
fun,
us.
fun. Oh, there was something else I was going to say and I forgot now.
Oh,
Imagine
how
that.
could that happen?
So many things coming out of my mouth and I've forgotten that.
I know we're a little off wildness tonight.
Well, I wanted to show this sampler. I know I
Oh.
did. So, and you can talk about this one while I hold it up. This is a model.
Yes.
So I will let you talk about this one.
This is the reproduction of my sampler that is a Quaker, and it is very, very fragile, very, very delicate. It's not traveling. It's done traveling. That's the best thing I can say. And it's honestly,
Ooh,
I think
squirrel.
that Bluebird is prettier, but there's a squirrel on this, so you know who covets it next to me.
Well, you know, but I bought this one, right?
I know you bought it because I didn't have any money,
I
girls.
bought it.
I was
and then I
struggling.
sold it to Susan because she wanted it.
did. I was in a financial state, which teaching needlework can do that. Anyway, she bought it and she let me do it, and it really is a pretty one. And I like the motifs. The thing that's been really kind of fun, because obviously the Quakers are just still going really strong, is the similarities, and yet these colors are so different than what yours is.
Yeah.
Because these are more fall colors.
Yeah, it's a really, honestly, I can't believe when I look at this model that it came from that antique. That antique
Oh, it
had seen better days.
Yeah,
I
it was
mean,
sad.
It was really sad. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful reproduction. I'm really glad you were able to save it.
Thank you. I too.
What's this one called?
Well, we just call it the Quaker. It
So if
doesn't
you
have a
want
good
this
name.
one, you send an email to Susan at sgreeningd@aol.com and you tell her you would like the Quaker.
Yes.
Okay, sgreeningd@aol.com and you tell her you would like the Quaker. And she's pretty good at getting them shipped out a lot quicker than I usually do, sadly. But
Yeah, I don't have a store though.
you know, Bonnie, we should probably show the model for the new one.
Oh yeah, the one
I didn't
Bonnie
bring that
stitched.
one back. Bonnie will
Yes.
help us.
She stitched it in about 2 months, and she can't wait to stitch it again for herself because it was for the book cover and everything.
Yeah, so this one that Bonnie's bringing us is a Dutch sampler that this class was based on, which I think I've shown you guys part of it. And Bonnie actually stitched the model.
Yes.
So, and this is what the class this weekend is contrived from. Allie was inspired by this to make the small, and then Susan put it all together and made the beautiful Hussif and the finishing and all the instructions and made it work. But this booklet's available from Susan, again, at sgreeningd@aol.com, or you can get it on our website from us.
Yep.
I don't have the kits out there for it yet because I'm missing some threads. So it'll probably be next week before I get kits out there, but it's just beautiful. And you can talk a little bit about those ribbons if you want to, Susan.
First of all, it's on 37 Legacy linen, and this has been really exciting because the petite as I call it, is on the same fabric, and everybody's stitching it with, even though maybe they would be used to using, special equipment for the eyes. So it's really a nice fabric to stitch on, as Legacy is. And NBI silks, which the colors are just spot
They're a
on.
great match to the
They were
antique.
fabulous. And so the side ribbons that we have,
Is over here.
yes, over on that side, they are stitches that would have been ribbons from the Isle of Markham. And the colors were produced usually by the young girls. And then when they did them on their ribbons for their bonnets, they were always done in black. So that's really exciting because you can see that someone again traveled to a different part of the Netherlands, and all of these motifs, I mean, we have this glorious guy on the bottom. He's spreading his feathers and showing us, how wonderful life is for him. And this particular
He's
one,
going, lady, hey lady,
hey lady, look at me, I want some of your food. This is just one of my favorite motifs that is on many of the stamplers from the Netherlands, and is on Sybil, my very, very first book that got done. So it has some very interesting stitches on it, and I have communicated with Martin and, I just forgot his
Ex
name.
Antiques.
Yeah, but no.
Jacob.
Jacob, thank you, Jacob.
The
I
Groff.
apologize if
The
you're
Groff.
watching. Yes. And they both were just really over the moon. Jacob wanted the sampler. I
Yeah,
said,
but
"Look, you're not getting it."
He snagged a few out from under me here lately.
He's quick.
He's quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got a Groningen I really wanted.
I
It
know.
wasn't his fault. He didn't know. But
No. So anyway, I must tell you, because I know Kim has been really good about talking about doing the correct cutting and measuring for doing hemming. I've taught hem stitching, vintage hem stitching, for 47 years. I have talked about it, said how to do it, how to measure it. Well, Bonnie had this stitched, and when I came to Asheville and we were working on getting it ready for publishing, it wasn't hemmed yet. Because, there just wasn't time. I grabbed it and jumped on a plane the next day from her. So I'm getting ready and I'm working on it, and I have 3 sides done, and I'm getting to the 4th side.
you remember my accident with my name tag I told you about? And I said that even experts have had it happen. Well,
Can you see? 4 threads. Does that show? I don't know if it does or not. I was literally beside myself for 2 days. I couldn't even look at it. And that was me and myself in the snowstorm that day.
Yes, she was stuck here. It was
Yeah.
snowing here, and she
Couldn't
was
get
here
out.
in a Airbnb. She had to just sit with it.
So anyway, I did make it look like it's hemmed, and it's ironed really well. It's been touched a lot today, but I say don't ever throw anything
You'll never
away.
see it if you put
No.
it in a frame.
No, and I'm going to actually mount it on a piece of linen.
Yeah,
I
she'll
will
tack
have-
it down. You won't see it.
But-
And you see what I did to mine? I just turned it into a nun stitch down at the bottom, or I cut mine way too short.
I don't know. We must have been
I
laughing.
hemmed
or
it at the
something.
top, but at the bottom,
Yeah.
I just.
I like it though. I think it really looks nice. I do.
It worked. It worked.
Yeah. So you all get so critical of yourself, and you do something that's not like you planned. Well, so keep it, fix it, enjoy it, make a pincushion, add a button. We always say all this, but anyway, it turned out, and it is magnificent. And the kind of the beginning of the story is I had this here, and I was doing a little lecture. And Kim comes running up at the end of the class. She says, "You have to do this. You have to do this."
It's a beautiful,
And that's how it
beautiful
started.
sampler.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
And honestly, when you hold this up next to the antique, which is also here, the only difference between it is that the antique, the linen color, is a little darker from age.
Yeah.
But the colors are just almost spot on.
You would
It's
think they were twin
amazing.
sisters.
Yeah, I mean, they look so similar. And there's very little difference in size, which is also surprising.
That was the other thing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, she took it away from me, and I'd only had it days. And so I wasn't seeing it. And she's sending me all these pictures, and it was fabulous. The linen that you selected, the color matching, because it was all done online. It was just really amazing.
So this one's called a Dutch Dalliance,
Mm-hmm.
Dalliance, and you can get it from Susan if you want to buy it from the maker, which is sgreeniD@aol.com, or you can get it on our website.
Yep, Kim has it, so don't be afraid.
And it's a beautiful book. It went through. If you've had any of the Sassafras Samplers books, it's very similar in nature because we helped put it together and it went to our printer.
Wonderful.
So it's a good quality, nice quality booklet.
As I said, once you deal with such a professional situation all the way around, you're spoiled. It's true. You're spoiled. You want to keep that quality. And so now I have to keep up to the standards. Yeah, they said
So the printer's really good here. We like him. And he has learned a lot about needlepoint. When I went to him, they were like, you do what? And I know they were thinking that, she's not going to even want to pay for this. You know what I mean? And then I was like, no, I need 500 of those. And he was like, what? You know, and it was the first one. And so now he's had quite a few people. I think we've had 4 different people go through him that we've.
Oh, they're good. Very good.
But they do a good job. And they're, you know.
They're very nice to work with,
Yeah,
too,
they
because
are.
I'm long distance
And
again.
they're local for me. But,
Yeah.
I mean, they work like they're local to you.
Exactly.
They want to do a good job. They're not some big conglomeration.
No.
They're a local business here. They want to do a good job, and that makes a difference. So
I've only been in-house one time when I, previewed the very first sampler studies book, and ever since then it's just been like home. It's been really, really a good feeling. I know I can trust them, and that's nice because, they do the work, Kim does the work, Allie does the work, but you send it off to the printer, and it doesn't always turn out the way you expect. And a good example happened recently at Nashville, one of the gals I know. It wasn't printed and it had to be all reprinted.
that's
again.
not fun.
Yeah, not fun at all.
Not fun. Oh, so if you went to Celebrations, when did you guys do that? Just like 2 weekends ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you went to Celebrations 2 weekends ago, so I've been trying to get up there and go as a vendor for a couple of years, and it just hasn't worked out because I've had stuff going on. And so I was communicating with the host last night, Pam Reed of Old Colonial, and Sassy Jacks will be at Celebrations next year, so we're pretty excited about that.
I'm really excited.
Yeah. I've wanted to go, and Pam's asked me to go, and I just haven't been able to make it work,
She keeps
so,
saying, when is she coming? I said, I don't know, I can't answer for her. And when you told me this year, I was really excited.
Yeah, so I was already talking to Everett about it last night, and I think he was a little bit disappointed because I said, well, Susan said I could stay with her. He was like, oh, well,
Oh, no, he
That
wanted
works
to come. Well, I'm sorry.
I may
Everett.
need him to come if I have to take a trailer because, I'm not much of a trailer
Oh.
driver, so
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, you probably might, yeah.
But-
We have a top carrier for the first time, but no trailer.
I don't like pulling a trailer.
Mm-mm.
I don't like backing one up either.
Mm-mm.
If I pulled the trailer, everything would have to be parked straight. I would have to go through the drive-through. There would be no, backing up of the trailer. And I just need to get something in practice in the yard, but
Oh, it's not so easy. I pulled one a few times and I said, okay, I've had it. Because you're right, if you can pull through, it's acceptable. But if you get stuck and you're like,
gotta back it up.
I'm in the wrong road.
Gotta go find a guy, which is humiliating.
Yeah, it is. You don't
Excuse
want
me,
to admit it.
mister, can you back a trailer?
Can you back up my trailer?
I know that's what I would be doing. Excuse me,
And
mister.
knocking on the window and they'd be going, oh yeah, she doesn't know what she's doing. But you know what? It's going to be fun. So if you're thinking about Celebrations, you can see Sassy Jacks there.
2023
Yeah.
Nashua,
Yeah.
May next year. That'll be fun. So since we have Susan here and she is an expert on many things, it's a great time for questions. If you have any questions, and I haven't gotten to see all of your comments tonight, but I will try to look back through there. But if you have a question that you want to ask either Susan or myself, we are happy to answer questions. There's a little bit of a delay, just so you know, so it's 5 seconds or so in the delay.
You'll
But
have to read them to me because I can't read them.
I've got
I'd
my
have to be
peeps
like
on.
this.
I have my
okay.
peeps on.
Yeah, my peeps aren't really good enough. So
But it's funny. Oh, so I started a few new things this week. I know you'll be shocked and amazed.
we love to start, don't we?
But so I am doing a Christmas ornament stitch along with Cindy DeRossi. And so if you watch her YouTube, she's great. And I've talked about her before. I think it's called Cindy's Cross Stitch. And so she's doing an ornament exchange, and you would have to talk to her to get signed up for it for July. But I started that yesterday, and I got probably a third of the way through it. But I'm using a motif from our Saxon sampler, and I won't tell you what it is. But I had a big piece of linen, and I brought it here. I was going to cut it down, and I forgot to cut it. And so I had a full yard and a little bitty 4-inch hoop up in the corner, and I'm stitching my little thing, and they're like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I forgot to cut it. So,
This is a true shop owner thing, believe me.
yeah. I mean, I could have cut it with my little 4-inch embroidery scissors, but it would have
wouldn't have
taken a
been
while.
fun.
It wasn't worth it. I would do that if I had to, but
I will tell you, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's really going to be it's going to be nice. It's really looking good.
I'm going to cut the comments off and on because I feel like they're not coming through very well. We'll see if they come back up. Oh, 77 people signed up. Oh, for celebrations. Really? Is that this year's, though?
Oh, there was a lot more there than that.
I wonder if that's for the one.
They could have been signing up for next year. I don't know. I
Wow.
don't know how that goes.
But
What does it say?
you can go shop, right?
Yes.
Even if you don't take classes, you can go shop. I'm your trailer girl. Okay, Linda. You better be careful what you offer because
you could be driving.
As all the people in the room know, I will take you up on it. Cindy closed it. Okay.
Okay.
That might be true. That could
celebrations.
be true.
That makes sense. 'Cause
Yeah,
there were
so
hundreds.
and it's her first. I don't know if it's her first time, but that's a lot to deal with.
Oh yeah.
I've never had 77 people do an exchange. That's a lot. So I feel for her. But yeah, I think mine's going to be pretty. It's straightforward, but it's a very beautiful motif, which I won't show you because maybe one of you are in it and you might get it. It's a very beautiful motif off that sampler.
Yeah, I was really excited to see what she was doing, and I really like that motif a lot.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful one. It's one of the more beautiful motifs like that I've ever seen.
There you go.
That's fun, isn't it?
A little bit of a
This
tidbit of
vague
information.
talk around, and you're like, what are they talking about?
When
That's
you
so
see it,
neat.
you'll get it. Right now, might not make sense, but yeah, you're right. No questions. My goodness, they must all be drinking their Starbucks or something.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes we get a lot of questions. Sometimes we
Yeah,
don't.
well, we've been a little on the silly side tonight, so maybe they're not getting right into the technical stuff.
They're stitching.
That's right. That's a good thing.
Which is what we were doing right before this. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to set an alarm on my phone so we didn't stitch through it. I was worried about that.
I didn't ask because I thought that's probably what you did, because I have to do that a lot when I have a time schedule.
You know what I do when I get up in the mornings? This is pretty entertaining. I I don't have an alarm on my side of the bed, and normally I would set my phone alarm, but Everett makes me Hussif. We'll tell you what a Hussif is in just a minute. Everett makes me watch TV at night with him, and I'm not used to that. I'm not used to having a TV in the bedroom, and so I've gotten used to going to sleep with it on, but the problem with that means that if it's on in the morning, I won't wake up to it. And so he will get up at 6, and I'll wake up with him, but if he turns the TV on, I'll fall right back asleep. And so if I actually have to get up and go somewhere, I make him wake me up. And he gets really stressed about that because he will wake me up and I'll go right back to sleep. But I still hold him accountable for it. Even if I tell him I'm awake, if I'm not out of the bed, it's his fault if I don't get where I need to be. And so he was really worried this morning because he had to leave at like 6:30. He was like, "Are you awake? Are you awake? Are you awake?" I was like,
you out of
"Yes,
bed?"
I'm awake. Are you sure you're awake?" "Yes, I'm awake." It's really entertaining.
That's
He gets pretty stressed
interesting.
out about it. So I can't set the alarm on my phone. It won't wake me up. But I used to use that to travel with.
Mm-hmm.
And it would wake me up. And I would get up and go.
You just kind of get used to a change, and that's the difference, yeah.
I'm off my schedule because I used to go to bed at 10 o'clock. And I would wake up at 6. Alarm or no alarm.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time I had to use an alarm is when I was on a different time zone. And now, going to bed at 11:30 is like insanity.
I agree. That's too much for me.
So I don't wake up till Rachel Ray has already served the meal. Which around here is I do wake up if what is it that comes on that I don't like to watch? There's a show that comes on at like 10 or 11 that I don't like to watch. And if that show comes on the TV, I will get up out of bed because I don't like that.
There you go. Then you know you're going to be up by 10.
That's pretty sad. That's pandemic for you.
Well, isn't that the truth? We all kind of lost touch with reality during that. And we're trying to get back in the swing of things.
But I do work late. Like I'll work downstairs till 9 or 10 o'clock at night sometimes. So it's not like I'm not getting my hours in. But
It's a change in your plans.
Smirnoff. Deborah's drinking Smirnoff.
Ah.
Okay, so what's Hussif?
Okay. A Hussif is a name for... Okay, let me back up a little bit. First of all, they were originally made in the 1600s by the girls in the orphanages to give to the sailors that went to sea in Britain. And it was to replace a housewife. and it folded up, and it would keep like, little pieces of string and a crude needle if they had it, and maybe a knife to cut things, and maybe some buttons and everything. So that was the beginning, and it's come a long way, as they say. And it ended up being a very elegant thing in the Victorian era with, glorious stitches and threads. But it was named to replace a housewife in the beginning. We call them fold up now. There's lots of different names for them. But yeah, that's what it is. It's just kind of like something that was made out of hop sack or something, very crude. They were not lovely at all. I'm always in the wrong pew. There we go. And that's not what that is, but it gives you the idea. And it's fascinating to see the different ones historical, to see that they were useful. That was what they were for. Did another spectator
Julie,
join
will you
us?
grab that fold up off that table up there?
Thank you, yeah.
Which one?
The
The red one, I think, no?
No.
just that fold up there, the Hussif, the project for this weekend.
This weekend?
I don't care which one, it doesn't matter. Either
We have
one.
another person that joined our gallery.
Rose Gallery.
Yeah, this is
The
one
Robes
that's kind of
Gallery?
neat because this one is pre-made and you can actually buy this kit from Susan. So I'll let you talk about
This
that.
was made by Moda for French General, and it's really a pretty one. It's
Thank you,
very
appreciate that.
useful. You see all the little pockets, and this would have had all your little pieces and parts in it. And then on the bottom, actually, I'm always off sync.
I do
I'm
that
left-handed,
too.
okay?
do
And
that
it's
too.
always exciting to see something come alive from one of your vintage samplers. And the kits come with different laces, but they're all from Bruges, and they're all at least 150 years old. So you see how this one folds a lot. The historical ones usually only folded once or twice, and they would close with a drawstring, nothing really, really fancy. But what we're doing this time is one, oh good, there it is. Show it because of the button.
Okay, so this is the one from this time. So the button there, that's the button that Allie made. She made one for every person in the class. It's a hand-woven button. But you can see the front of it. So this, and I see that somebody is stitching from Sybil.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
so
thank
this
you.
alphabet that this letter is from the Sybil book, which is one of Susan's books. And if you're interested in that, you can contact her. I don't know if she's got any left or not. I'm always doing
About
this the wrong way
7.
too. Yeah, she's got a few. And so this one is folded, but you can see this is what we're working on for class. And this stitch right here is the beast in the room. It's called a top winder stitch. It's the one none of us had done, so we had to do that. And then it's got some heart hanger in it, and it's got some woven stitches up here. But all of these stitches come from the sampler that we showed you, the Dutch sampler. And so you open it up, and this was made by a friend of Susan's and mine.
Miss Murray.
Yep. You open it up, and it's got these pockets, and this was inspired by an antique that Susan has that she bought in France some years ago. And so the one that she has is smaller and different, but it had these same kind of pockets. So there's pockets here, and I know I've showed you guys this a bunch. And then these long pieces have pockets in them too. So it's great for like laying tools or scissors. But the project part of it is this. And so that's how beautiful it is stitched.
And the thing that's so neat about this is it holds, you see all those flappy things and you would think it wouldn't stay together and hold everything. It does. It's the way it's positioned, each of the pockets. Because I have my scissors in it, I have needles and tubes in it, I have tape measure in it, everything. It's really, really interesting.
And so this would have been made by a local girl, given to a local fisherman to take out, and they would keep their things in here to mend their fishing nets
And anything
and their
that
clothes,
their
and,
boots,
you
and
know, whatever
everything.
else. So they had to learn to sew because that was their,
Mhm.
you know, what kept them warm and what kept them fed if it was their nets. And so,
Exactly.
so the antiques of those are really kind of neat, but they were traditionally carried by men.
Yes. And the thing that was really good is that it gave some sort of job, to speak bluntly, for these girls in the orphanage so they could make a little bit of money to help pay for their food and their care, and yet the men needed them. I mean, things were so useful, even though they're beautiful pieces of, embroidery that go on tables and things. The majority of things in the beginning, they were for usefulness. And I like that. I like things I can use and
utilitarian.
enjoy. Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's what's really great about Susan's workshops, if you get to come to one or go to one online, is that they're all self-finishing, and almost all of them are utilitarian. They're useful. They're not just decorative, but they're also decorative, so it's really kind of great. Now, so somebody was asking about left-handed stitching and where you start.
Well, this is I wouldn't say a bone of contention, but what I'm going to say is, first of all, you have to look at your pattern. And, if it has a border around it, there's always, do I do this first, do I do this last? I truthfully would baste a great big plus in the middle, especially being left-handed, because I am, as many of you know. And I tend to start on the center left side. Okay, not up in the corner when it's a border, center left side, and then I work down part way, and then I come on the right side and work down part way. It's the way I finish things too. I don't go all the way around. So that way, if there's some sort of adjustment that needs to be made, I find it before I get to the bitter end, and I can adjust it when I'm coming around the corner on the bottom or something. And then I flip stuff upside down. I don't know, for me it's easy, so then I would do the same thing. As far as where to start on a basic cross stitch pattern, there's not a right or a wrong. It's the same concept. You do your X's consistently. I usually start in the upper left-hand corner, but again, if it's depending, they're starting in the center on this. You have to look at your pattern.
Yeah, so today, for example, I know that my friend Debbie and I did ours the same way. So we started with these birds, and we started with these blue and brown birds, and we started working down this way, which technically is upside down for this, but our X's are going the opposite way, because in our minds we were working right side up. So what we will do is, we could, when we flip it, do the other one. It wouldn't really matter. It's probably traditionally what they would have done. Or when we flip it, we'll work them backwards so that they're all consistently the same, and I suspect that's what we'll both do. It's pretty rare that I want to make mine consistent. The only time that I would say that you wouldn't make it consistent is if you're doing something to try to get texture.
Yes.
And you want to give a certain look to it,
yeah.
And you want that difference to catch your eye, because that's the reason that you make them consistent, is so that the differences don't draw your eye away from the larger design.
It flows.
Yeah, so that you're not looking at the tree inside the forest, you're seeing the forest, right? And so that's why, if you're doing something that's more artistic and you want that dimensionality and you want to be able to draw somebody's eye in a certain way, then you can do something different. But if you really want somebody to see the beauty of the whole piece, you want it to be consistent.
That's the thing that's interesting about this sampler, because some of the stitches were done with heavier thread, and it gave more texture to it, because that's what you can see a lot. I call it movement. But on this particular sampler, it's texture, because some of the stitches are done with single silk strands, and then some are done with double. And actually, on the one piece, it looks like it's a very, very heavy twisted silk.
I almost think that I'm thinking about doing a conversion to a Soie de Paris.
Yeah.
Because that's a heavier strand, and it's very not fun to stitch with.
That's the problem. Yeah.
It's almost like stitching with rayon. It's very slippery, and so stitching a whole sampler with that feels painful, but it would give some dimension to it in places. I might have to look at your antique and see if we can tell where they were thicker at or something. But
yeah, it was some of the unusual stitches that we were not right into right away that they used it. And I can tell after doing it and practicing many, many different ways that it behaves better with a thicker, stronger thread. And again, you think about the person that did this was obviously from some wealth, because they had the beautiful silks, and it was revered. It was protected. It was not thrown to the wayside. But she, I'm going to pretty much say, had different qualities and thicknesses of thread, and that's pretty unusual too.
Yeah. Good question. So one of the things that we didn't talk about yet was the soiree that's coming up in September. Sometime in the next week and a half, I'm going to be posting the classes for that. Susan's teaching 2, Allie's teaching 1, and I'm teaching 1. They're optional, and they're pretty low cost. The barrier is low, so if you want to join in. The one that Allie is teaching will be button weaving. It may not be this particular button. She's going to pick 1 or 2. But it will be button weaving. So if you want to learn how to make a beautiful button like that, you'll want to look at Allie's class. Susan brought the kits for hers, but I've already put some of them away. But you're doing hanger and black work, right? Do you want to talk about those a little bit?
Sure. And I don't want you to be stressed when I say hanger, because I'm going to talk about other ways to do the stitching and the design, and not cut if you don't want to cut. But it's on a gorgeous needle book that's with some banding that has lace
pretty.
on the edge that we can't get anymore. They're already made. You can use them without even doing the work. And the other black work, again, is a drawstring bag that my sister
It's
made.
really
She did
pretty.
it all. And she learned how to do these bags in France, and it's just with the linen, the lavender linen thread.
Yeah.
And I give a lot of history. I mean, if you get the kit, you're going to learn a lot of history, and you might decide to do something else on them because they're already done. But you'll learn how to do it, and you'll learn why it was done and different products that were used. So, I'm kind of a talker about
And
history.
those will be online. So what we'll do is they'll be probably pre-recorded so that you can watch them at your leisure. But we'll open up some sessions during the soiree for you to ask questions and do a little bit of live instruction for each of those classes. So that's how those will work. And we will ship out the kits for the classes when we ship out, the other stuff for the soiree. It'll all come at one time in one mailing. So, be on the lookout for that in a couple weeks.
It's going to be fun. I think sometimes when you say hanger or black work or double running, whatever that you want to call it, because there's reasons, you're thinking, oh, I don't think so. Well, give it a chance, because I think you'll be excited with the kits alone and what's already made and what, listening, and then if you want to do something else with them, they're really pretty.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we have rambled on for an hour now. Hey, Deb, I'm glad you joined. So I want to thank my studio audience for joining us. Have a bunch of people sitting over here stitching. Thank you guys as always for coming. Now, if you have trouble finding these live, you can, I don't push subscribing too much, but that's a great way to make sure you get notified. If you want to make sure that you get the little thing to tell you that we're getting ready to go live, or that we've gone live, or that it's coming up, you can do subscribe, and then it will notify you that the live is coming up, because sometimes they're a little bit harder to find. And I know some of you aren't able to comment when you just click the link in Facebook and join. I think that might fix that for you too.
I think it
You
does.
could try that. Yeah, if you subscribe, I think it'll work out better for you. But I hope you enjoyed just our silliness tonight. That's
fun.
what happens after a long day of class. You just feel silly.
Yeah.
And you're among friends and people that you really enjoy, just like we are with you and we're online with you. So
That's right.
I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week. I may change the time a little bit. I'll send you something out early so you know coming up. But a lot of you asked me to move it a little bit later. So we will try to maybe accommodate that. That's fine for me. So anyway, I really appreciate you guys joining. I'm always surprised and happy to see you log on. It's always been a lot of fun for me to do these. So next week I'll have some stuff to show you, some more stuff. I did get a really beautiful sampler in the mail that I told you about, I think. And I don't know if I had it when I was talking to you before. Maybe I don't know if I had it or not, but it's in a massive box and I've got to unpack it. But these guys are wanting to see it here too, so I
Yes,
might
we
bring it
are.
in. But
We're not going to let her slide by. It's going to have to come visit us.
yeah. All right. Well, you guys have a fabulous week. Thank you
Yeah.
for joining. And Susan, thanks for jumping in.
You're
and
welcome. See you down the
chatting it up with
stitching
us.
trail.
All right. Bye.
Bye.